Hey guys, welcome to another market review session with us tonight. All right, and as our tradition is, we'll look at some currency indices together, and then we'll be looking at some currency pairs together also. All right, so first off, we'll be looking at DXY, which is the US dollar index. All right, and as you can see here, my overall bias would still be for us to continue being bullish on DXY. However, there are some things I just want you to note, and I've already marked them out on my chart. Now, first off will be for us to have a sort of break and retest scenario, which will be this. All right, break of this trend line, retest of the trend line, and then we'll continue for our bearish move. However, if we do not get to see that, all right, the next probable thing that could happen would be for us to break just below that trend line. All right, probably come a bit lower into this side, probably take out liquidity from this low here. All right, and then we get to see price still push up towards the upside. All right, so that'll be my bias, so that'll be what I'll be looking at for to happen on DXY. So I hope that is very clear. Next up, let's look at BXY, which is the Great British Pound Currency Index, and currently on BXY, my bias would be for a buy to sell. Now, as of last week, we were expecting for us to have a sell from this zone. All right, we got to see, let me delete this please. All right, so we got to see that sell happen quite well on BXY, and now during the course of this week, I would love to see sort of retracement towards the upside. Even though overall my bias would still be bearish, all right, I'll just love to see a sort of retracement towards the upside for price to probably clear out some of the liquidity left by this imbalance on this bearish candle here. All right, and then come up into probably this zone around here that I just marked out now. All right, and then we get to see that drop continue from there. So overall, my bias on BXY will be for us to be bearish, but I'd love to see a sort of buy to sell movement happen on BXY. I hope that is clear. All right, next up we'll be looking at AXY, which is the Australian dollar currency index, and as of last week, we're expecting that probably we'll get to see a sort of push up for price, all right, to come into the zone here. All right, but we didn't get to see that happen, and it is very likely that as it stands, all right, we're just going to see price to keep tanking towards the downside. All right, so my bias on AXY would be for us to still continue on the bearish move, All right, so I hope that is clear. Quickly, let's look at CXY also together, which is the Canadian dollar currency index. All right, and this is on the 4-hour time frame. Sorry, please let me get that. All right, yes, wonderful. All right, so this is on the 4-hour time frame. Now we've seen that we've broken some lows, all right, some minor lows as it were. All right, so we've broken this low, we've broken another low here. Now currently what I'm watching out for would be for just a short retracement towards the upside before we continue on our bearish move. All right, so that is why I have this sort of buy to sell path that I already marked out on my chart. All right, so currently on CXY, I'll be expecting just a sort of buy to sell movement on CXY, all right, during the course of this week. All right, and that buy movement will just be a retracement, probably for price to get into a more comfortable zone before it continues its drop. All right, so probably we can watch out for this as a potential place for us to get that reaction from. All right, there are also some other sides I'm looking at here. This is looking plausible also. All right, so somewhere around these zones. All right, but overall my bias on CXY would be for a buy to sell also. All right, for a buy to sell also. Now lastly, for the currency pairs we'll be looking at together, we'll be looking at JPY basket. Now for the past couple of weeks now, we've been expecting JPY, we've been seeing JPY basket, all right, to continue its fall, and we still got to see something similar to that happening during the course of last week. However, for this week, all right, I just want to see JPY basket probably push up still just a bit more anyway, probably push up into this zone. Yeah, all right, this zone I marked out is between 6947 and 6906. All right, so I just want to see price get to push up into those zone, or into that zone rather, and then we get to see our continuation for the bearish move on the JPY basket. So I hope that is clear. Now quickly we'll be looking at some pairs together. All right, so first off, let's look at gold. All right, now this is just something I have marked out for the past couple of it's been a while anyway. So this was structure that was created, this was around May. All right, and I've marked out that zone since probably like 2 months ago or so, and I want us to just watch out for possible reactions that would be happening when price gets to be tapped into that zone, all right, during the course of this week. All right, so on gold, I'm expecting a buy to sell movement on gold during the course of this week. All right, so once I get to see price come into this zone, I'll probably be watching out for sales. All right, this zone is between 2050 2023.44 and 2022.21. All right, so I just have those that's the coordinate of this zone anyway, and I'll just be watching carefully, all right, for possible reactions that will happen when we get to see price tap into that zone. All right, but all the same, my bias for gold would still be for us to have a short buy to a sell movement on gold. All right, next up we'll be looking at US30. US30, sorry, give me a minute. All right, so on US30, all right, give me a minute, please, my chart. All right, wonderful. So on US30, I have something like this marked out. I am expecting during the course of this week, all right, possibly, in fact, immediately we get to see a market open. I'm expecting to see price shoot up towards the upside, all right, shoot towards the upside. All right, this was the zone I just marked out basically with my Fibonacci. Let me just show you that quickly. So yeah, something like this. All right, and I'm just expecting to see price shoot up, all right, from that zone. So I want to be watchful of this zone right now. This zone is between it's quite large, all right, but you can refine it based on your own entry criteria. All right, this is between 32439.08 and 31819.14. all right, so my bias on US30 would be for us to have just a short bullish run for the meantime, all right, but you can capitalize on that if you can. All right, make sure you cross check all of these with your entry criteria before taking any of these trades. All right, that is very, very essential. All right, next up we'll be looking at USD card. Give me a minute, please. USD card, yes. All right, so for the past couple of weeks now, we've been seeing this sort of bullish movement on USD card. All right, we've seen that break and retest even of this trend line. Let me just zoom out a bit. Yeah, so we've seen that break and retest of even this trend line. I'm seeing price continue pushing towards the upside. All right, and currently I'm still expecting that to happen. All right, I'm still overall bullish on USD card. However, I want to see that sort of retracement towards the downside, just a short retracement, all right, towards the downside before we'll continue with this bullish run. All right, so my bias on USD card would be for a sell to buy, all right, on USD card. I hope that is clear. Next up, we'll be looking at GBP JPY. All right, GBP JPY. During the course of last week, we got to see, I was expecting price to react exactly from this zone I marked out here. All right, but that didn't get to happen. Instead, we just had price making equal highs and, you know, what people would call, or what some people will refer to as the double top pattern. All right, and then we got to see price drop directly from there. Now, as you can see, this support, this is around 181.083, has not yet been broken. All right, so during the course of this week, I just want to see a sort of buy to sell movement on GBP JPY. Overall, I am still bearish. All right, but since we've had multiple touches of this support that and it hasn't been broken yet. All right, so I just want to see price gets rejected possibly one more time. Sorry, I just want to see price get rejected possibly one more time towards the upside. All right, and then we get to see price finally being able to break that support. All right, so I just want to watch out for something towards that end. As just for clarity's sake, or for clarity's sake, let me just mark out this zone. All right, this is between 182.600 and 182.029. So I'll just be watching out for that zone. Possibly when I get to see price tap into that zone, then I'll sharpen my tools and be watching out for sells from this pair. All right, so I hope that is clear. Next up, let's look at GBP USD. Now, we've been quite bearish on GBP USD for the past couple of weeks, or for the past couple of months actually, and currently for this week, I'll give you the scenarios I have and I'm watching out for rather to play out. All right, so let me just bring this smaller here. All right, so this is it now. Currently we've not been able to break above this previous high here. This is around 1.23357. all right, and as you can see, we've been in a sort of downward channel. All right, so I'm expecting just price to get towards this downside, just to still drop a bit. Let me go down to the 2-hour time frame to show us a bit better. All right, so I'm expecting price to just drop just a little bit. All right, and then we have a buy movement. All right, and the reason why I'm watching out for that is I just want to see price still sorry, give me a minute. Yes, so I just want to see price still obey or still respect this downward channel for just a little bit longer. All right, I'm watching out for some zones, some potential zones around here that somehow coincide with the trend lines that we have been able to see on the chart. So something closer towards this end, but we just get to see that short drop, and then we get to see price reject and get that rejection from there, and then we get to see price push towards the upside. All right, that is scenario one. All right, scenario two would happen if we get to see price break break below this trend line, all right, or below this zone. This zone is between 1.20881 and 1.20669. So in the eventuality that we get to see price break below that zone, then definitely I'll be watching out for price to continue bearish. Rather, I'll be watching out for price to continue bearish. All right, so I hope that is clear for GBP USD. So as I said, I have two scenarios I want to watch out for. Either I get to see a rejection from this zone, all right, and then I can just ride that rejection towards this end, all right, or I get to see price breaking it, and then I can just enter for a breakout trade from that trend line. All right, so I hope that is clear for GBP USD. All right, so next up we'll be looking at AD USD, and during the course of last week we're expecting for us to have a buy to sell movement on AD USD, and we got to see that happen quite well on AD USD during the course of last week. We had this buy from around here, and then we had this we just saw price come up into the zone, sweep liquidity from the previous high, and then we got to see price drop directly from there. Now my bias for AD USD will be for us to continue bearish, all right, so I want to see that drop continue from there. Let's see if we fib, all right, from year to year. Give me a minute please. All right, yes, so we can see that currently price has actually tapped into some of our interesting levels on the fib. All right, so I'll just be watching out for that drop to continue on AD USD. Let's look at the 2-hour time frame quickly. All right, so something like this, yes, so something like this, we've seen that price has actually gotten so we've actually gotten a sort of rejection from this point. So I'll just be watching for price to continue towards the downside. All right, so just to be clear again, my bias for AD USD would be for us to continue bearish. All right, to continue bearish. I hope that is clear. Next up, we'll be looking at Euro USD, and then we'll look at USD JPY, and we will be calling it, all right, a night. All right, so let's quickly look at Euro USD. Again, I have two scenarios I'm watching out for to happen on Euro USD. Now, again, this is a trend line that has been tested once, twice, 3 times, all right, and we've seen that break of that trend line. All right, so one possible scenario would be for us to have this being the retest, all right, of that trend line, and then we get to see price going straight down towards the downside, and then we'll continue for our bearish movement. However, we don't get to see that happen. My second scenario would be for us for price rather to break above this trend line, come up just a bit higher into this zone, which I think I marked out using the fib. Give me a minute. Yes, so I marked this out using the fib. So I'm just watching for price to come just a bit lower into this zone. Give me a minute, please. Let me bring this a bit towards here. Yes. So I'm just watching out for something towards this end. All right, so probably price getting to still tap up in come up rather into this zone before we get to see that drop from that zone. So one of two scenarios: either we have a break and retest scenario and immediately market opens, we just get to see price fall from there, or we get to see price still push up a bit into this zone, and then we get to see that sell movement. In whatever case, I'll be watching out for probably more confirmations on the lower time frames before taking any of these trades. So finally for the night, we'll be looking at USD JPY. And I think about 2 or 3 sessions ago, I was talking about the fact that I was expecting a drop very soon on USD JPY. All right, and this was a zone. Let me just go up to the daily time frame quickly. This was a zone that I actually marked out on the 2-hour time frame. All right. However, we've seen that price has gotten rather towards that zone, and if I thought you were able to enter this trade, it will have been a sniper, very sniper entry for you. All right, now for the course of this week, I'll be expecting us to still continue. Again, I have about 2 scenarios I want to watch out for. All right, and the first scenario will be for this zone, which is between give me a minute please. This is between 149.552 and 149.330. all right, so I'll be watching out for probably a buy movement to happen from that zone. However, if I get to see that zone gets neglected, all right, or it gets broken rather, I'll be watching out for price to still drop just a bit lower, and though this will be more or less a longer a longer time frame sort of trade. All right, but I'll be expecting to see price drop into this zone. This is around 148.240 and 147.782. all right, so if I don't get to see price respect this zone, then I'll just watch out for a break below this support here, this previous support here. Give me a minute please. Yes, so I'll be expecting to see price break below this previous support here, and then we'll just get to see price go down towards the downside, enter this zone, and then we get to see that buy movement as I was expecting on USD JPY. All right, so I hope that is clear. So just to recap again, my overall bias on USD JPY will still be for us to be bullish. All right, but for the course of this week, I want to see if this zone will get respected, and then we get to see that rejection towards the upside, or if it's broken, I'll just wait for price to still drop, probably enter a breakout trade from here, all right, and get to see price still drop a bit into this zone before we get to see price continue on that bullish run. All right, so I hope that is very, very clear to each and every one of us. All right, so once again, thank you for joining us for tonight's market review session. I want you to like this video. I want you to share to your friends. All right, comment. All right, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, guys, and have a profitable week ahead.